Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Minecraft here in the Nudos world. In today's episode, I think we're going to work a little bit more on this house, and I want to finish out, yes, you heard me, finish out the capitalism contraption. I think it's finally time that we can put the final touches on it. So let's dive in. I figured there's no time like the present to try and figure out the remaining feature of the capitalism contraption, which is a way to actually feed the villagers the exact right amount. And this seems to work. So if I hit this, this should dispense 12 items. Ignore that. So we now have 12 of these. It takes 12 food points to get the villagers to breed. If we do something like this, they'll all group up and then drop, I think, exactly where we want them. So that is the last remaining hurdle for this particular setup, is just getting these to drop where I want them. This is a little bit slow, but it does allow them to group up, and it keeps them from spraying all over the place, which is kind of nice. I'll keep experimenting and see if I can come up with anything else, but if I am doing this right, boom, right on the bed, villagers can pick them up, we're good to go. So this is the main part here. You need the observers to keep triggering it over and over again in order to make an observer clock that is deactivatable. The piston works for that, and then this is just a pulse extender that just happens to extend it exactly the right amount of time. So that was lucky is what that was. All right, I'm not sure if this is better or worse for the vibe of that ceiling with all the skulk, but powdered snow aligns them all pretty much perfectly, so they all fall right there, and it falls a little bit faster than the cobwebs. So that might be the way to go. It's a bit of a bummer that it is white, but I don't really know what else to do about that. So that's probably just gonna be what that is. But this is the setup for feeding the villagers. All right, I will close this up in a little bit. I did have to slightly change the design. The way it was designed in order to get the right amount of items out, since these are comparators and they are comparing this input signal, I needed it to be a full strength signal, and this needs to pull power off of this side of the circuit. I tried pulling it off of here originally, and that actually gets me 13 items instead of 12. So it's it had to go around a little bit here, but it works. So now we should be able to fill that up with carrots or potatoes, whatever. And then we'll just have a button here, I think, that will activate that. Something like that. And then if we put this button on, nothing happens. Huh? There we go. Love that. All right, let me go load it up with some carrots and get a bucket of powdered snow, which I hopefully have and don't need to wander all over the planet for. I didn't really think that part through. We could also put a cobweb there. That might save me the hassle. I don't have powdered snow, do I? Do I even have string? Okay, I have string. But I can't craft cobwebs. Okay. The webs would be nicer because it would mean that I could fill it up from the bottom without having to remove the powdered snow, but I think ultimately I'm going to be filling it up so infrequently that it really doesn't matter. I need a whole lot more carrots and potatoes and things also. Okay, so a little bit more to do still. Okay. I have gathered up all the... Excuse me? Chain? I have gathered up all the carrots. Well, enough carrots to get us going. Yeah, that kills the vibe a little bit, but whatever. It is what it is. So now if I hit this button, Here we go. So that's 12 carrots, which should be enough for them to get the hearts. I'll give them a little privacy. Sort of. What, do you mean your dead son's head kills the mood? Did the wiki lie to me? I'm feeling like the wiki has lied to me, and this is not actually the correct amount. In which case, this was all a complete waste of effort. Alright, well, I hit this a total of 3 times. Something I didn't account for is the idea that both villagers need to be at maximum food, so that's 12 each. So really, this should run 24 times instead of just 12. At any rate, there should be a little jerk down here now, and he can grow up, and we can try and make some farmers. Or if that doesn't work, we can send them to the fire. I mean, fire them. Fire them. Because you can totally fire people you haven't hired. Okay, just a quick update. If I ever get enough redstone and quartz and all that to do this, if I just add 2 more sets of comparators, you will see that gets us 24 items, which in theory should be the correct amount for both of the villagers to be full and to breed. So if I ever get around to it, I will do this. In the meantime, just using 2 comparators is, well, it's 33% of the cost, and I just have to press the button twice. So it's not the end of the world. We'll just live with that until I get enough supplies, because I am nearly out of redstone. Maybe we should build a witch farm. I know where there's a witch hut. So over here, Slime Farm is right over there, you can see off in the distance. We just conveniently have a witch hut right here. So I'm gonna get to marking this off and sort of starting the spawn proofing process here. And then I think we'll build the farm. This one is brought to you by Raiseworks. Link will be in the description as always. Hopefully there's not a witch in here right now. But yeah, basically we just need to mark this off. Hello, there is a witch in there. And then we can get the farm going, and then we will have unlimited power. I mean redstone. I'm starting to think that I should put killing the Wither on my to-do list. Could really use a beacon about now. All right, well, I'm up here at the AFK spot, and the farm should be done and working. I will say there's a couple of things missing in the tutorial. It is, I think, a good farm, just maybe not the best tutorial. In addition to the things in the tutorial, you will also need a piston, a lever, a bunch of kelp, at least 8, and possibly bone meal if you don't have enough kelp, and 2 signs. So those are the things that are not in the tutorial. But if we come down here, oh, hey, scaffolding. So down here, you can see the golems are indeed throwing snowballs at the witches. That is aggroing the witches. And then the witches come charging off, trying to get the snow golems. And they die down here in this horrible cacophony. So let's go actually look at the drops that we're getting from this. Whee! Should probably collect my scaffolding here too. Oh my god, how do I turn this down? Nope, it's not that one. You know what? Okay. Maybe that was a little... They must have nudged the carts or something. Whatever. Anyway. Yeah, wow. So, lots of glass bottles. But more importantly, lots and lots and lots of redstone. So, wow, I was only up there for like 5 minutes. Okay, so we should be set on redstone for a little bit. Let's craft this into blocks. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so that's 46 blocks of redstone plus 4 redstone dust. All things considered, not too bad. I think maybe the thing to do here is to line up some of these things that we are likely to get just a little of. And then that can all be dedicated to redstone. Sweet, so this has been a great success. I went from having no redstone to having a ton of it. And now it's night. Uh-oh. So yeah, this is pretty exciting. This farm is done. We have tons of redstone. I am happy. Excuse you, vines. And I think it's time to finish what I started with the feeding apparatus for the capitalism contraption. Bloop, 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 bloop. So now, if we trigger this, it should drop exactly 24. Is that what I said? The correct number for them to breed. Whatever that number is, that's the number it's gonna drop. I also think it would be useful to create a system to refill this a little bit easier. So some kind of a chest with a hopper. So I will probably extend this out a little bit so that we can just easily refill that. All right, so just to simplify things, I've cut down on the number that's in there. I'm going to put in a block here and see if I've done this right. No, that target block did not help with that. Yeah. I kind of forgot how to redstone. So if we put a block here and we push the button, that should have dispensed exactly the right amount here. Let's go check the dispenser. So that was 32 minus 8 is indeed 24. Let's reload that for now. Close this back up and look at that. A new prospective employee is on its way down. There it is. Hello, future employee. Let's see if we can get a farmer after this guy grows up. We don't endorse child labor here. I'm not an animal. For the finishing touch on the capitalism contraption, we just need to label this button. And I think the most appropriate name is Pizza Party. Because what do you always give your hard-working breeding dungeon employees? A pizza party. I think that's enough of that. Let's try to finish planning this house. I've got some ideas for the outside here. Mostly I want to add the support pillars so that it looks a little less dumb here, I think. I don't even remember why I have the slime still here. Okay, so pillars. I'm thinking that we do something kind of like this. And then maybe from here, we put this going up, something like that. Yeah, obviously I need to make a few more, and this is... What happened here? Hello? I'm not entirely sure that looks quite the same kind of balanced that I want it to. Let's try with all... Yeah, I think that we're just gonna have to stick with solid blocks, I think. It looks a little bit sturdier that way. And for this guy, I think we can also do this. Would probably work fine. It's a little square. Yeah, I think something like that is probably more what I want for here. And then we'll put a slab across the middle just to fill it out like that. Then over here, we'll need to put certainly one there and one there to even it out. Maybe even another one in the middle. And we can think about doing the stairs thing once that is done. And then I think we should put in some stairs so I can start actually constructing a second floor. All right, I have some semblance of a staircase now. I'm not totally pleased with the way it looks, and this corner in particular is a little wacky. I think if I put some kind of pole here, that will kind of help sell it. The pole I would want to go up to the next level as well, I think. But it functions, and it gets me to this level, so I might just leave it for now, and then we can finish constructing the rest of this floor, which I will probably do as slabs like this. I'm not entirely sure though, because it might be nice. Yes, it would be, if I could do that maybe. That's not too bad. It would be nice to be able to have a different ceiling color, like a white ceiling for this, rather than having it just be this wood texture. But in order to do that, I think I need to move it up one more block. I kind of hate having bottom slab floors because then nothing really sticks. But if I do that, it does allow me the ability to put some kind of like white slab underneath. Although there are no concrete slabs, I could probably stock up on quartz again and use the, I think it's the smooth quartz slabs to get a solid white, which I think makes the most sense for the ceiling. So for this middle section, maybe we take advantage of the lightning rods here. But I think I want to put it facing down. Yeah, like that. I think that is a little bit more interesting. It is also slightly more annoying in terms of actually putting it down. But yeah, now we get this kind of effect. That, I think, is what I want for there. And then we can take our smooth quartz slabs. Wow, they're really reflective with this particular shader set. but it gives you the idea. I mean, normally ceilings are painted flat and not glossy, but this does allow me to have a white ceiling while still having a wood floor up top here. That's maybe a little strange. I'm not sure how else to deal with it though, other than putting a stair, which I can't do because this is a bottom slab. All right, so all of this is in up here, but I think what I want to show you is actually this without those shaders on, because now the quartz is nowhere near as shiny and reflective. Now it actually kind of works as just a standard white ceiling with a little bit of texture. And then if we come upstairs, we've got the oak floor in. I still have to figure out this little bit. That might just be how that's gonna be. But we can put in a ceiling here, and then I think I will keep an attic. Either that or I'll turn this into more of a vaulted ceiling. So there will be sort of an internal wooden structure in here to better match the theme. This will be continued up until we hit whatever the actual ceiling is. I'm kind of thinking there should be a room up at the top. These stairs are going to be a little tricky to keep continuing all the way up there though, so I will have to see how that works. So we've got all of these out here. The one thing that I'm thinking is this might be too samey. It's blending in a little bit too much with that, so I might need to figure out a different material to build the pillars out of for it to make a little bit more sense. Otherwise, I think it's okay. Maybe we just use some walls from some kind of stone. But I think this is looking pretty nice. But that is where I'm gonna have to wrap it up for this episode. I ran into some computer trouble. Thanks, Elgato, for messing up my computer with the Stream Deck. So I lost a couple days of recording and editing, but I think we still made some pretty good progress. We've got this house mostly laid out now. I think we'll keep chipping away at that in future episodes. We built a whole witch farm and we finished the capitalism contraption. So if you like this video, please do hit that like button, subscribe so you don't miss the next one, and I'll see you guys next time.